What is going on, everybody? It's your boy John, and welcome back to Gearbox. So today we've got another install for you guys on the Mark V Supra, and so without further ado, let's get right into it. So as always, by the title and thumbnail of this video, you know that we are installing a charge pipe on our Mark V Supra. This one in particular is from FTP Motorsport, and we've got the box right here. Please disregard all of the mess here in my house. Just got back from vacation, also why if I'm a little bit red, the Florida sun is a little bit aggressive, but we're getting right to work, and we've got the box right here. So, to be honest with you guys, I completely forgot what color I ordered. That is what I thought. We went with the red charge pipe. It's in two pieces. There's a rubber kind of coupler here with some clamps. And really the reason being for this install, guys, so if you've been around for a while, you know that my Supra is tuned on MHD. Definitely a bump in horsepower, which by proxy, I guess, means we have bumped boost with this specific tune. The BMW, B58, whatever, charge pipe on the Supra is made of plastic, so it's not really a matter of if, but rather when that plastic will give way, become brittle, crack, and ultimately create a boost leak. So what we need to do here is go ahead, unbox the rest of this. Like I said, should be pretty easy. Just two pieces here, the clamps there, and then we'll go into the engine bay. We'll get some B-roll going. I do think, unfortunately, we are going to have to remove the cold air intake just to give us a little more room to work kind of on the side of the engine bay, since we don't have a 2-post or 4-post lift, which shouldn't be bad. Just need to make sure we unplug all of the electrical connections, and then we'll be able to have access to the OEM charge pipe. So let me get this unboxed real quick, and then we'll go out to the garage. Alright guys, so now that we are out in the engine bay, like I said, we're going to have to remove the cold air intake. Of course, I have already installed this HKS intake, but really what we're looking for is if you go down here, this intake obviously connects into the cold side of the turbo. This basically blocks the charge pipe, which is right here. So first what we need to do is go ahead and actually remove this engine cover. We'll then remove this electrical connection as well as the intake itself, and then we will have access to the actual charge pipe. I want to go ahead and do this the right way and not try to fight it the entire time. As much as I hate having to take the intake out, it's kind of a must in this situation. So let me set you guys down and we'll go from there. So what I've decided is that the air intake doesn't have to come out completely, and I'll give you guys a shot of that right now. So it's still connected to, I'm assuming that's a MAF sensor, and then we can see, I know this is probably a horrible angle, but we can see the clip down there just like this that we need to get off of the charge pipe. So I'm going to go ahead, kind of focus in on that. Shouldn't be too terribly difficult, but once we get that clip off, we've got all of the charge pipe sensors disconnected, so we'll be ready to rip out the old one and throw in the new one. All right, y'all, so I actually kind of lied to y'all. I ended up taking the air intake out, and let me explain why. So number one, here is the O2 sensor that goes to the air intake. When the air intake was just off of the turbo right here, I was able to get to the charge pipe just fine. What became an issue is once I was able to actually get the charge pipe clip out, which sits right here, Twisting the charge pipe out is a little bit of a, I guess let's call it a trick for lack of a better term. Basically what I did is I grabbed it and twisted it this way, and was able to then twist it back the other way to get it through all of these hoses and everything. It wasn't too terribly difficult, but of course we were able to get this thing out. Now, one thing to mention, actually two things. Number one is a lot of the videos show taking this module off. I did not do that. I was able to get it out just fine. But really, I guess, two connections, well, three, I guess, counting the air intake. Number one, this O2 sensor, and then these two sensors up here plug directly into the charge pipe. Please, 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 do not forget to take those out. That will make your day not awesome. But once we have those out, we had a couple Torx bolts right here, being two, and of course the beautiful throttle body right there. And now we are ready to construct our aftermarket FTP charge pipe. What we will need to do is transfer over this kind of like green, I guess, gasket right there. And number two is transfer over these sensors right there. Once we have those on the FTP charge pipe, we'll be ready to throw everything else in and button everything back up. So all in all, guys, especially from the air intake side of things, I thought it was going to be a lot more of a pain in the ass just because of how much of a pain in the ass it was when I threw the aftermarket intake in. Not that bad once you know what you're looking for. Really, honestly, the hardest thing is finding the clips and being able to get those off. And then, of course, the electrical connections is just a matter of finagling them and making sure that you don't break precious, precious clips. So let's go ahead. We will transfer over all of the sensors to the new charge pipe, and then from there we'll install the bottom side, make sure it clips in, install the top side, then we will reinstall the air intake, and we should be good to go. For the record here, we have an 18mm socket to take off this bad boy. Just gonna throw that puppy on, and I mean, obviously it's hand tight. We don't want to tighten it down too much. That will allow us to transfer this sensor over to this bad boy right here. Now, the last thing that I thought we were gonna have to do, but we don't, is transfer over this seal right here. If you see kind of that clear greenish color, if you look in here on the back of the FTP, we actually have a preset gasket right there. So at this point in time, we've got everything, all the sensors transferred over here. We have the bottom section here. I do want to go ahead and throw this puppy on right here so we don't make that mistake once we get it seated and on. Last but not least, let's get this, and we'll throw it right about here, and then we're ready to throw it back on the car. All in all, not too difficult. Really just want to make sure that you are hand tightening down these sensors right here. Don't crack them, otherwise your life will suck. But we'll put this bottom part on. It's gonna go right about there. I don't know if you can see that. We'll clip that on. We'll then feed that through basically this way, and it's going to connect direct to the throttle body. We'll put the Torx bolts in there, reconnect these puppies, throw the air intake on, clip it back into the turbo, and we'll be good to go. So let me focus on that. I'm not going to set you guys up because I don't really think I can film it that accurately, to be honest. But we'll do that, get this bottom part in. We'll then connect this part, connect everything electrically, and then we'll be good to go. So let me catch y'all on the flip side once we have this charge pipe installed. y'all, so we have officially buttoned up everything in the engine bay, and it is time to show you. Here we go with the FTP charge pipe installed. We have this sensor, this sensor, this sensor, and this sensor plugged back in, torque to spec. So now we are ready to absolutely rip. I am super glad that I went with the red accent here. Of course, it kind of sort of matches the intake, and then of course, if you have been tuned in for a while, the paddle shifters and just overall kind of the red accents on this car. But either way, this is going to put us in a much better spot than that plastic piece of shit right there. So once again, guys, really the whole reason for this install is because I am now tuned on MHD. I'm not running anything crazy, but it is an increase in boost. And this versus will make a big difference when it comes to potential failure of the OEM charge pipe and allow us to make more power, both in general as well as reliably for the future. So very excited that we got this buttoned up. Honestly, not a bad install whatsoever. Once you get this intake out of the way, especially if you're dealing with the OEM airbox, that's gonna free up a bunch of room for you. And then really it's just a matter of connecting the dots, make sure you got everything plugged in. So what I'm gonna do now, turn on the car, just make sure no codes are thrown, make sure everything runs as properly, and then we're gonna give it a good rip per usual. But guys, if you like this video, please give it a big fat thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop them in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know the drill. Until next time, peace.